Getting through my morning every day.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adelaide's Jody and Hazy on Nova.
He dropped his first EP at age 14 and had a #1 single by the time he was 18.
You cut out a piece of me and now I bleed internally, left it without you.
Collaborating with artists like Justin Bieber and Post Malone.
I do the same thing I told you that I never would.
And even getting his own Macca's menu item.
I get a 6-piece chicken McNuggets with barbecue sauce.
He's fast becoming Australia's biggest musical export. Please welcome the Kid LAROI.
Andrew Hayes, you're like a kid in a candy store at the moment because our next guest is so incredibly special and you've been looking forward to talking to him all week. Please say a very good morning to the Kid LAROI.
Oh, mate, can we just get straight into it and say you're a big-time artist coming to Adelaide, so the state of South Australia appreciates you. Thank you for giving us the time.
I appreciate it. I went to school in Adelaide for like 9 months or something.
Did you?
No,
Yeah, I did.
Where'd you go?
Went to Sacred Heart.
Stop it. How do we not? I mean, shitty research from us because we certainly didn't know that. Wow. So why did your parents come to Adelaide?
It was a boarding school, actually.
Oh, right. So you were just here by yourself.
I got sent away.
Did you? That's a bit sad.
You got sent the furthest way you could possibly be from rugby league heartland. Did you get a feel for AFL, or the whole time you were still madly South Sydney?
Yeah, I lived in Broken Hill for a little bit before I went to Adelaide. So I played AFL out there. I was actually kind of big into AFL.
If you had to choose between the two, what's your favourite code and who do you barrack for in the AFL?
You know, who do I go for? It's funny you say this because in the AFL, a lot of my family goes for the Crows.
Yes.
And that was kind of my team growing up too because a lot of my family did. But I have to say Sydney just because I'm from Sydney. So
that makes sense.
But honestly, I was kind of a low-key big Crows supporter when I was a kid.
Go. So it's like that. Crows supporters would love that.
Who would you have idolised growing up then? Was that your Andrew McLeod's?
You know what? Taylor Walker, because he was from Broken Hill, so I really probably liked him growing up a lot.
That's really cool. Tex would love that.
Tex would love that.
He would absolutely love that. Oh, mates, I mean, that's a big name here, but with some of the names that you've worked with, and I've wondered this for years and years, like it's all the top shelf artists. Justin Bieber, and the stuff that you've created with Justin Bieber is really, really cool. He seems like a really, really down-to-earth, cool guy. What's he like?
He's the best. He's just the man. I don't know. That's probably the best way to describe him. He's the man.
Yeah.
Hey, you've just turned 21 over in the States. What's that like? You can legally have a beer.
Yeah, it's pretty good actually. It's kind of crazy. Like that's still when I go to like restaurants now, I'm like, oh no, like I hope they don't ID me. And I forget that I'm 21.
I don't want to be too deep with you, but fame, what's it like? And is it everything that you expected? Because your trajectory was very, very sudden. Has it lived up to what you thought it would be?
I mean, no. I mean, it's obviously amazing because it's part of like the job, right? Like part of like being a successful musician is like that's kind of what comes with it, which is cool. So I get to do what I love for a living, which is really awesome. But just like everything in life, it just, has its ups and downs. So, I mean, whatever. It depends how you look at it. I'm trying to adopt a half full mindset instead of the half empties.
Well, I hope you're feeling positive about your stage experience here because we've had two pretty spectacular stage falls in Australia with Coldplay and also Olivia Rodrigo went down as well. How the hell does that happen?
I'll tell you what's funny. We were at a show rehearsal yesterday and I did one run through of the show and then I went out into the crowd to look at the show. And so we had my friend Adam stand in for me. Like, so he was just pretending to be me on stage so I could watch like all the visuals and stuff. And basically he like halfway through the set, he fell and like actually hit his head and got like a slight concussion. He has like a little...
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it was funny because something in the air.
Yeah, it was funny, not for Adam at the time.
Yeah, not for Adam. It was definitely, let me rephrase that. It was not funny. It was definitely... But he got up, he was like...
Oh, good.
Yeah. Mate, biggest differences between the States and Australia. And when you're over in the States, what do you miss most about home?
That's interesting. Probably, I mean, this is going to sound pretty crazy, but I mean, like, the food, honestly, is, like, there's a big difference. There's something that you might not pick is the food, for sure. I think the food back home is so much better than the food in America.
Hey, can I just say to you as well that you've had a hand in helping raise my son and introduce him to maybe some new words that he hasn't been exposed to before.
Right.
We had Kid LAROI playlist happening on YouTube a couple of years ago. And, of course, Stay came on and Mum and Dad hadn't just checked whether it was the family-friendly version. Kid LAROI jumps up and does it. I'll be up if you get dropped. And we've looked over at my 4-year-old son and his mind's ticking over and he's just ticking over and all of a sudden it was like an epiphany and he's like,
I'm sorry.
There you go. No, it's Mum and Dad's fault because we were singing along to it as well. So I think we're all in trouble. So thank you very much, mate. That's awesome.
Oh, man.
I don't know what to say to that.
Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. We can't wait to see you on Sunday. And thank you so much for stopping by. You're an absolute champion.
Yes, sir. Likewise. Thank you guys for having me. Hopefully I'll see you guys at the show.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, you will.
Looking forward to it. Thanks again, mate.
Absolutely. See you guys.
I need to know. I need to know now.
I need to know.
I need to know. I need to know.
What's in the news today?
I need to know this.
Here's what you need to know.
What you need to know with Jody and Hazy.
What you need to know is it's Swim Safer Week this week because we have an issue in this country. We've got a lot of water and beach drownings, unfortunately, this year are well up on average over the last 10 years. So the important message here is to teach your kids to swim, and a lot less parents aren't doing it because of cost of living. That's one of the first things to go, you know, those superfluous things that you don't have to do. So a lot of parents are cutting back, which is very bad because they've done some research, Hazy, and have a think about your kid in the water. Can they float? Like, which you sort of take for granted, but it is a skill that needs to be taught. And in an emergency, so what's happening is these kids don't know how to float, so they're panicking, and it increases exponentially the risk of them drowning. So, really important week. They're running free float clinics at the Marion Aquatic Centre, at all these swimming centres. So if you can get your kid down there, just to give them a little lesson on, you know, okay, if something bad happens in the water, just turn on your back, relax, breathe, starfish, etc.
I remember when I was obviously in primary school, really quite young, and we were up in, I'd say, north central Queensland, and being in a water hole, so you got watering holes and stuff up there.
Yeah.
And I remember it was a genuinely traumatic moment. I remember I was sinking and I couldn't swim, and you're thrashing around. Yeah. And this feeling of there's nothing you can do, and I'm going down. And right at the last thing, one of the adults there threw me something and I grabbed it and pulled it out.
Wow.
It's stuck with me like it happened yesterday.
Isn't that funny? We were swimming at a beach, like in a channel, you know, off the beach where there's a bridge and there's, you know, so this was at a place called Scalamanda in Hobart, and the same thing. I would have been 6, 7, and I remember going down, and I remember sinking down to the water, and at the last minute again, same thing. Adult came in and pulled me up. But that feeling of near drowning never leaves you, does it?
No. It's a really, really necessary life skill.
Yep.
Let's talk about the Adelaide 36ers. Geez, there's a lot going. Game on the weekend between Melbourne United. What came of that was a massive altercation between the 36ers bench and the crowd, which saw 4 fans ejected. One particular absolute peanut, you would hope in the days following the incident will get at least a life ban.
Oh, him and his friend.
Yes, absolutely ridiculous. So yesterday by 6 o'clock, both teams had to put in their submissions. Basically a please explain, which is what happened from both sides. From the 36ers point of view, so they reported multiple witnesses saw there was instances of racial vilification as well as homophobic slurs from the crowd to 36ers players. 36ers players involved, and it was Isaac Humphries on the end of a homophobic slur, and the racial vilification was directed at Kendrick Davis. They didn't hear it directly, but other players heard it. Okay. So obviously it still exists. Yeah. And also, this one's a little bit interesting. 36ers reported that the United Court announcer was inciting the crowd. So a very, very hostile environment. There's still no word on what happens, if anything happens today, whether it be a couple of days or what's going to happen with the NBL. It's up to them now to make a ruling and go from there. But what a really, really disgusting situation.
And Montrezl Harrell, it all kicked off because he had a bit of an altercation with one of the United players. It was interesting yesterday to see that there was some suggestion that he won't come back to Australia after what happened on Sunday, which would be so incredibly disappointing. And I just went down the rabbit hole yesterday of reading some of the comments. People teeing off on Trez, when you've got Melbourne United fans who are physically pushing our players and physically yelling out racial abuse and homophobic abuse, how very dare you turn on Trez, who is an entertainer and who is great for the NBL and great for the game.
Well, that is the exact thing, isn't it? The NBL know right now just how lucky it is to have Montrezl Harrell or something like that, because he could probably go to Europe, go to some of these other leagues and make much more money, but we love him and we need to show him some love to keep him here, to keep the product nice and high.
The man has a box of gold chains, for God's sake, that he carries with him everywhere. Don't lose Trez.
The man can successfully wear big, bulky glasses indoor and look cool. No one can do that.
No one.
Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, 100%.
Just ridiculous things. Just quickly on that as well.
Yep.
So he's in the States.
Yep.
And the other thing the 36 has said is that was always planned. This is the fever break right now, so
Yep.
the players got a few days off. He was always going back to the US for a couple of days. So there were some suggestions that he fled Australia. He didn't. He was on an organised little holiday back home. So, but you're right. Gosh, I hope he comes back.
Oh, my God. We can't lose Trez.
There you go.
Your father, he's on the naughty list.
Jody and Hazy's Naughty at 6:40.
Naughty.
If you just tune in for the first time, how's your timing? Because this is the Naughty at 6:40. It's where we can talk about things maybe just a little more risque before we straighten up after 7 o'clock and really, really bring this shit home.
I promise we'll become adults after 7. It's fine.
Very good.
But for now, let's talk about Bonnie Blue.
Oh, my gosh. She is dominating our news cycle.
Isn't she?
And she's got a mate.
Yeah.
Controversial porn star, they're calling her.
Oh.
So, difference between a porn star or an OnlyFans creator, is it the same thing?
Why is she a porn star?
Well, that's the thing.
Okay, well, does she release content where she's actually engaging in sexual activity?
Yes, Jody, she tried to do it with thousands and thousands of barely legal teens on the Gold Coast.
Well, then she's a porn star.
Via OnlyFans.
Okay.
So is it the same thing? So in terms of someone who knows adult film business more than most, Producer Flack.
Producer Flack, jump on. Well, hang on. Do they actually...
Obviously a big consumer of adult film.
This is a really naive question from me, but is OnlyFans, is it people actually doing it?
There's all different types, allegedly. When it comes to OnlyFans, you can sign up and it's women just, kind of maybe just topless or showing their feet or whatever you're into. But there's more risque stuff. And the one like Bonnie Blue and these other ones that are doing schoolies, they are actually sleeping with 18-year-old, I want to say boys, but men, and filming it with their consent. They're signing consent forms and then they post that and they make money off the membership. So let's say you're an OnlyFans creator and you charge $7.99 a month.
Yeah.
For that $7.99 a month, you can watch these videos of her sleeping with 18-year-old men.
And I apologise because I always get this wrong because it's such an unfamiliar face, but is it pornography or pornography? How do you say it? Can we just establish
You're
that?
an idiot.
Right, so Bonnie Blue couldn't get a gig in Gold Coast.
No.
And she's also got a mate by the name of Annie Knight, who is an Australian, which is really, really disappointing.
Yeah.
So they flew over to Fiji to do the same sort of thing, but unfortunately they got deported.
Yeah, right.
Issues with the visas and all sorts of things because you are working, if you are creating content and you were charging. Went over to Fiji to try and bang a heap of barely legal teens over there. It didn't quite come to plan.
Could use that expression, can you?
Oh, well, that's probably what it's called on her OnlyFans page.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting, isn't it? So the Mr. Okay. I'm just going to have a crack at it.
Yeah, say it with confidence.
Okay. Mr. Tigadua Dua is the immigration minister over there.
Who do you do? Not Bonnie Blue.
Declared that Tia Billinger, which is her real name, the United Kingdom national, is a prohibited immigrant. So basically they've said you can't come in here, which is interesting because I'm trying to take a family holiday to Fiji at the moment. Does that mean that they'll check my sexual history?
Oh, jeez. Hopefully it's not similar to Bonnie Blue. Oh, my gosh. Oh, sorry. How embarrassing for Greg Oddie when you get turned around at the airport. Sorry. We can't let you in here. You're going straight to jail. Oh, hey, Bonnie.
He's a local from Pibinga in country SA and gets home every year for Fringe.
Teacher stops me at the front of Kinder. She said, do you drink a lot of beer at home? Because today at Kinder, your son, with his water bottle, has been cheersing the other kids.
And And he's been on our screen for years, most notably playing Jim in Utopia.
Utopia is a comment on the bureaucracy that exists in our own government, wanting to appear as though it's doing something without ever actually really doing anything.
Now he's road tripping across the country in Channel 7's The Big Trip. Please welcome one of our faves, Anthony Limo Lehman.
Oh, Jodie and Hazy, hey?
Hey.
What a joy. Now, Guy, I've actually called through for the quiz. Am I in time? What's going on? What's going on, guys?
Oh, man, we're just watching you on the big screen. This is really nice. So, The Big Trip, can you take us through this? Because we were talking off air before. You hate working a real job, don't you? This is a dream.
I do hate working a real job. If I have to work over 2 hours a day, it really starts to do my head in.
To grind your gears.
And it really starts to limit my sports intake.
Yes.
Do you know how much NFL football and NBA there is to watch every week? Not to mention the English Premier League and the cricket that's about to start.
Oh, my God. Okay.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Okay, Andrew, do you want to field this question?
It's a lot. So for blokes like Limo and myself, there's a lot to take in. Do you know how hard this is,
a lot
Joe?
of pressure for you two.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Joe, there are some NFL games where I'm forced to watch the 4-minute highlight package instead of the full 6.5-hour game.
That's not right. That is not right.
Hey, are you across the NBL at the moment? Did you see this big brawl on the weekend at the Melbourne game?
You know what really stood out to me about that is that was a much better fight than the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? There's more punches landed.
Cleaner punches thrown. Everyone was a willing participant. Put that on as pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Hey, now back to the big trip though, which is on tonight. What I'm loving about the first few episodes is that they're all in South Australia, guys. So last week we were in Ceduna. One of the great things is I helped the rest of the team pronounce the town names around South Australia.
Yeah.
Ceduna, they were pronouncing Kedana.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And tonight we're in a little town. They were calling Woodinna. It's Woodinna, guys.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man.
Woodinna Area School tonight, and we've got a challenge where we've got to entertain the kids. And then we go to Port Lincoln Raceway for a bit of drifting. As Jodie would call that, driving to work. So all of that you're going to see in tonight's episode. And my teammate in this show, Dilruk Jayasinha, who people would know from comedy stages around the place.
Yeah.
We're driving over 3,000 kilometres across Australia, okay?
You'd want to like him.
Well, A, you'd want to like him, but B, day one, he goes, oh, yeah, by the way, I don't have my licence.
Oh, my gosh.
No,
So you are joking.
I guess Limo's driving.
Oh, my God.
You don't have your licence. So he's in the passenger seat for this whole 3,500 kilometre drive. And I said to him, just don't be a passenger in the car like my wife. And he said, how's that? I said, about every 200 metres you go, ah! Judge, you've been on a family holiday recently. How was that?
Horrendous. Road trips with the children are horrendous. It's like, I think the last trip we were down in Tassie and I did that thing that I found myself in the back of your head. You're going, oh, my God, you sound like your mother. You're like, if you don't stop fighting, I will pull this car over. And they know you never will because you're on a freeway from Hobart to Launceston doing 120. They're like, you ain't pulling over here.
You're
so
on
they
the
just
old
keep
school
going.
expressway.
I was on a road trip a few years ago, similar experience, Joe. No one was having a good time.
No.
And it was me, my wife, our son, and my mother-in-law.
Oh, no.
And my wife's best friend.
Yeah.
And we were driving from Alice Springs to Uluru, then up to Darwin over 2 weeks.
Yuck.
And it was bad. It was so bad. My head went to some dark places. At one point I was driving thinking to myself, of the 3,500 people on board the Titanic, there must have been at least one family that went, thank God for this. But Bill and I, we get on pretty well for this trip, and there's tears on tonight's show as well.
We love it. Episode 2 airs tonight, 8:30 on Channel 7. It is The Big Trip. And Limo, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for being you, because you're so very, very consistent, and we love you as a proud South Australian.
Oh, I want to give you a big cuddle, guys.
Oh, come on.
Have a great morning, and I'm calling back in for the quiz tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
All right, cheers, mate.
See. It is the small arguments that can can destroy an otherwise really healthy relationship. Am I right?
Oh, I hear that, sister.
Yeah. And you revealed something the other morning about an argument that you had with your beautiful wife, Cara. And it shouldn't, just as an impartial third party, it shouldn't have been an argument. It was a bit of an open and shut case. And shockingly, you were wrong in this instance.
Excuse me very much.
Can I just take you back?
Hang on. Have we confirmed that I'm wrong?
Yes, absolutely. We've confirmed that you were wrong. Okay, play the audio, please. This is the
I've got my 1-year-old son, and I've given him a small treat. And when I say treat, I put my hand into the Jats box and gave him a biscuit.
Yep.
And then Cara didn't see what had happened. She said, "What did you just give Sonny?" I said, "I gave him a Jat." She said, "It's a Jats." I said, "No, it's a Jat because it's singular. I didn't give him several Jats. I gave him a Jat." And then we argued for days and days. Welcome to marriage, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
It's the little things.
I just need to check in and see how the relationship's going. Have we recovered?
Yeah. Well, Cara's staying in her mother's place at the moment, but that's okay. Well, we ended it pretty early because the final piece of the argument, which I forgot to reveal, is that it's Jats with a Z.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it probably means that Cara's definitely right.
Yeah, she's 100% right.
A singular Jats is a Jats.
Yeah.
Not a Jat.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was dropping the Z.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Look, you win this round, Mrs. Hayes.
There will be retribution.
One of the great petty arguments, though.
Yeah, we had a cracking one the other day, Greggy and I.
Oh, yeah. Go.
So he tottles off down to Victor Harbour / Middleton. We've got a place down there, and so we rent it out sometimes. So he goes down and he cleans it. When I say he goes down and he cleans it, he goes down for the morning, and I've cottoned on to him now. What he does is he goes down there, cleans it, and then he'll play 9, sometimes 18 holes of golf at McCracken Golf Course with his father.
It's like a little reward for all the hard work.
Yeah.
A small reward for what is, I imagine, something quite laboursome.
And yet the man is stupid enough to think that I don't know that this is the tactic moving forward. So the last Wednesday, I was back here with the kids running around like an idiot, trying to pick them up from school, get them to ballet, do all the things, get the lunch boxes ready. And I'm ringing and ringing and ringing to see what time he will be home. And he wasn't answering, and I'm like, I know what you're doing. So I jumped on Find My, didn't I? Because we've got a little family Find My.
You're on that as well. It's good.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's really good. It's really handy in this circumstance.
Yeah.
And I jumped on Find My, and I'm like, there we go. McCracken Golf Course.
Oh, my gosh.
I knew it.
Yep.
I knew it. And then when he finally answers his phone, I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, it's just picking some stuff up from Bunnings. Like, really? That's what you're doing? He's like, yeah, just getting some stuff for the house. And I'm like, yeah, right, that's interesting, because Find My says that you're at McCracken Golf Course and you haven't ventured your way back to the city yet. And he's like, no, Find My, very inaccurate. It's very, very inaccurate. So what it's done is, because Bunnings is at the roundabout and it's right next to McCracken Golf Course, it's mistakenly said that's where I was.
Yes.
Right.
I thought he was about to launch into, no. My phone is actually playing a round of golf.
And then he goes, I was stuck in traffic at Bunnings, and he's carrying on. And that went on for, again, weeks and weeks and weeks because he couldn't concede that he'd been caught out. And he didn't play around, to be fair. He was just, in the end, said, I was just hitting some balls on the driving range.
Okay.
But the point being, don't lie to me.
Yeah.
Don't lie, mate.
I mean, if the headline is petty arguments, well done, Jodie and Greg. Right at the top. You guys absolutely nailed the brief.
You're so
Good
welcome.
job.
If you want to get involved, if you want to have a petty argument with us, feel free to do so. 13 24 10.
Dumb arguments or petty arguments with your partner. Because it's the little things sometimes.
Yeah.
What have you got? Give us a call, 13 24 10, and just share, because maybe we can help in this space, or maybe it's good just to talk and get it off your chest.
Yeah, and the worst thing about that was I said to you, I think he's playing golf in McCracken. You're like, well, the man deserves a break.
He does deserve a break. He works hard. He's a prince of a man. Needs to unload every now and then. Maybe that's on the golf course.
Has there ever been an occasion where you have not taken his side over mine? Let's start a petty argument right here. Why don't you ever defend me?
Because he's a prince of a man.
Oh, my God.
More for the princes. 13 24 10, your petty dumb arguments with your partner, please share with us. Best caller as well will send you off to see Dean Lewis, multi-platinum award-winning Australian singer-songwriter. He's embarking on the Epilogue World Tour, playing Adelaide tomorrow night. TegVanEgman.com for more details.
Be sitting in your car now seething, absolutely furious because you've had a stupid petty argument with your partner.
Hey, it's okay. Share it with us on the radio. It's just us and a few other people listening. It's fun. One of our slogans is petty arguments are the foundation for strong partnerships. We've always said that, Jodes.
Yeah.
Nothing rings truer.
Yeah, you argue black and blue that a singular jats is a jat.
It's not.
It's not.
As it turns out.
Turns out it's not.
One Jats is a Jats for those playing along thinking, well, I hear you, brother, and I'm on your team. Unfortunately, we're wrong. And I can say this comfortably as well. Unfortunately, boys, we're wrong.
Let's take your calls this morning on 13 24 10, the stupid petty arguments that you're in at the moment. Shelby from Port Noarlunga South. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
We're so good. What's it about? What's the argument about?
Oh, mine's infuriating, Jody. My partner is in numerous group chats with all of his friends to the point where I didn't know one man could be in so many group chats. So he's constantly on his phone just talking absolute ramble with all of his friends.
Yeah.
As soon as I need a response as to what time he'll be home for tea or anything as simple as that, it takes him 3 hours to reply.
Yes, because, and obviously, you've got to think about these things, Shelby. Like, he's got so many group chats to get back to before he gets to you. And obviously, it's in priority.
Yeah.
Priorities, that's it. What's for tea is the least of his priority. And silly things as to who scored the best goal in football
It's so
is
true.
always first.
Yes. Just know, Shelby, he loves you dearly. His brain's just not where it needs to be. That's
that's so true.
That's correct.
It's a work in progress. Thank you, Shelby. Let's go to Sarah from Seaton. Your petty argument, hit us.
So mine is, so if I go out to the kitchen and say unpack the fridge to give it a clean, my husband will say, oh, while you're there, clean the fridge. Dude, I'm already cleaning the fridge. Go away.
Hey, he's just double downing. He's just making sure that you guys are 100% on the same page.
Yeah, but you know what I do? I put everything back in that fridge and I said, I'll clean it when I'm ready.
Oh, very good.
Show you. Well done, Sarah. Stacey from Prospect, your petty argument.
Morning, guys. So this is going back a few years ago, and I had told my husband and kids that I was making fish and salad for dinner.
Yeah.
I do have to be honest, it wasn't any fancy fish. It was just frozen crumbed fish from a box from the supermarket.
So fun.
With coleslaw. So my husband wasn't very impressed with the frozen fish, which then turned into an argument that he believes that coleslaw is not a salad.
Whoa. That's controversial.
So if you're arguing over whether coleslaw is a salad or not, that's not
he was saying it wasn't a salad, and I've said it's absolutely a salad.
Well, sometimes you need to strip these things back, Stacey, and try and work out what an argument is really about. And the fact that you served him frozen crumb fish, that's what the argument was about.